Hey guys, welcome to another session of Project Demon Hunters, in which I will try to cosplay the entire squad. So last session we drew out the two variations of the standard Nichirin blades, which is the straight Shinobu poison sword and also the standard curved katanas that everybody else has. The only thing I've done in between last session and this session is moved outside, obviously, and also I've just used this first pattern here to trace out a more comprehensible and a simpler to look at pattern where the two swords are separate, so I can cut them out and trace them onto my material shortly. So we have over here the original sketch that we did last session. The two blades are over each other, so I need them to be separate. So what I did was just trace them onto a new piece of paper where they're separate from each other. So now I'm here at my trusty local hardware store for material. For our blades this time, I've gone for a thin fiberboard. I actually usually prefer pine, which is these guys here, but for our Nichirin blades they are quite thin, so I've gone for this fiberboard. It's a little bit debatable on this. Some people like to use plywood for our katanas, but I think I like the fibers better because it just comes in a really nice smooth board already, requires less sanding and gives me a whole lot less splinters. So the pattern fits nicely onto this panel here, and it's got lots of spare for me to make the rest of the blades for the rest of the crew as well. So I'm going to go for this one. Now we just got to go home and cut the bitch. Now we're home and ready to work. The swords have been cut out of the pattern paper already, and I've just stuck them onto my 6mm thick fiberboard. So now I'm just going to trace it over with pencil, nice and simple. You'll notice that I've put Shinobu's straight sword right at the edge. It just saves me from cutting a perfectly straight edge. I'm going to make about 3 or 4 copies because a few of the squad use this shape of katana, the standard shape, but they're all in different colors because the Nichirin blades, they turn different colors depending on what sort of technique that they use in the stories. It's really cool, but also very troublesome for me because I have to make all of them. Drawing progress. So I've done Shinobu first, a straight poison stingy sword thing, and then I've done Zenitsu second, Zappy Boy, and I've got our main boy, Water Boy, and I'm gonna do 2 more for Inosuke, and then after that, if my memory serves me correctly, the only other 2 squad members who use the normal sword would be the Mist Pillar, Kanao, the Flower Girl, and Giyu. So 1, 2, 3 more. As Flower Girl is done, and that means only 1 more. Okay, so that is everybody, I'm pretty sure, unless I've missed somebody. Oh god, I actually did forget somebody. It's the Flame Pillar, the best boy. Here's a corrected version of our stencils so far. Upon looking at the cast, I actually realized that I've forgotten quite a few people, so there's actually maybe 2 or 3 more that I have to copy out, but I'm gonna leave it for later because the others that I've left out, they appear much later in the manga, and we actually don't know what their abilities and what their swords are like yet, so I'm gonna leave it until we learn a little bit more about them. Okay, it's time to cut now. We only need 1 piece of power tool for this, and it is any cheapo jigsaw. My one actually costed about $20, and I've had it for like years. So anyone would do. We need some sort of face mask, especially with the fiberboard. It has some really fine fibers and some glue particles, so you don't want to breathe that in too much. It's not lethal, but you don't want too much of it in your lungs. And some sort of eye protection, just in case any random thing flies towards your eyes. I've had some scary things happen before, so always have something protecting your eyes. So we're going to start cutting now. Start our cutting process by cutting off the handles first. So I've got 3 copies of the handle, like I've explained before. 2 is full length and 1 is a little bit shorter. So we're going to do these first. So I've cut out the first 3 pieces, which is the handle, the 2 full lengths, which will be the outside, and then there's a shorter length in. So the idea is that we sandwich them together, and then when we have the blades later on, they can slot in and slot out for transport. How cool is that? I've also cut half of the blades off the main board, so that the rest of the cutting will be a little bit easier, because my workbench is a little bit little, and with the board being this thin, if I start to saw the wood out here, it's gonna move a lot. So I've cut the board in half, and I want to do Shinobu's blade and Zenitsu's blade, Zappy Boy, first today, and then I'll leave the rest for later. So I've started off with Shinobu's blade, not really because I am going to cosplay her first, but really because she's at the edge of the board and she needs to be cut first for the rest of the blades to be easier to cut as well. A tricky part of Shinobu's blade is the sharp corner. Yeah, a lot of people don't actually know how to do the corner, and they try to twist the jigsaw around, and it doesn't really work like that. So here's how to do these sharp corners. So we got to attack it from one side first. Stop there, and then we go from the other side and meet it at the corner. Like that. So that's how you get the clean corner. Go one side and go the other side. Yeah! So now that Shinobu's blade is done, we're going to leave her aside because we're probably not going to cosplay her for a while. I'm going to do the one that I'm going to cosplay right away, which is Zenitsu as Zappy Boy. This blade is much easier to cut because it's just a subtle curve. All we have to do, press the button, let the saw run, and then just follow the line. And just like that, we've got the first 2 Nichirin toes, the first 2 blades all cut out. Have a look at this. The handle, that was in 3 sections. So the gimmick is that these 2 are going to sandwich together over the shorter bit, like that. And so the blade can now just slot in and slot out for transport. And my idea is that I can also make the decoration as like a sock for the handle, so I can just make one handle and have interchangeable blades. So that's going to be elaborated more as I keep working on this project, but for now, that is one very relaxing day of woodwork done. The rest will be done later as we get onto those characters. But first, Zappy Boy is done, and Shinobu is kind of just ready on the side for when we get to her. Yeah, see you next session.